Welcome to the Gyrl Podcast, the show where purpose meets inspiration. Each week, I sit down with incredible guests who open up about their real life journeys, the wins, the setbacks, and the lessons in between. Whether you're navigating career moves, entrepreneurship, or personal growth, you're in the right place. I'm Kyra Mitchell Lewis, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's glow up together. All right, happy Thursday, my friends. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you're having a fantastic week. We are steadily ticking through 2025 and really, really close to 2026. So it is hopefully a time where you are making plans for, the holidays and making plans for 2026 and the things that you want to accomplish next year. For anybody out there listening who is thinking next year is the year that I'm going to start my podcast, I'm going to do more speaking engagements, I'm going to get that promotion that I want. I've launched a program called Story Labs, which is a powerful space to uncover your voice, own your narrative, and share your story with confidence. It's a one-on-one session where we talk about your story and look for ways to, really extract, shape, and help you shine and share your story with confidence. So there's a little pre-work. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. As I always say to clients that I work with, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just an opportunity for you to sort of, in the pre-phase, just think about the things. You will come in, I will be a listening ear, I will ask you some questions, and what the result of that will be is a story snapshot to help you present yourself. Almost think about it like an elevator pitch. So there's like a short blurb, there's an about you. It's who are you in, a short snapshot. Also, if you have a website or if you're trying to do an about me, or if you're trying to do an about me for a media kit or something like that, they're very different. Sorry, I'm having a moment where I just had a lapse in thought, but it's a very very different framework, so to speak, for the different types of channels. So there's a intro for different channels that you may be interested in telling your story on. Whew. All right. So make sure you go over and check that out, glowupgirl.com/storylabs. Or if you're just thinking, Kyra, I don't know if I'm ready, if it's the right thing for me, I don't know if I'm ready to sign up just yet. If you want to just chat with me about it in a quick discovery call, just send me an email at hello@glowupgirl.com. We can make sure we get that on the books, just so you feel confident about the purchase that you're going to make. All right. Also, check out the glowupgirl.com shop as well if you're looking for some empowerment Glow Up Girl merchandise as well. Me being guilty of not having the shirt on, I promise you'll wear the shirts all the time. But it's always like I've had other meetings during the day and I didn't want to wear Glow Up Girl stuff all day. So guilty of that. All right. And then lastly, for all my creatives and entrepreneurs, be sure to stop by Studio Wonderwell at hellowonderwell.com. That is a space I've created for helping dreamers like you design smarter workflows, stronger brands, and more time for the things that matter most for you, which is, driving your business, being a business owner. All right, now let's get to today's episode. All right, my guest today is Sloan Echavarria, a self-described chaos coach who helps ambitious, multi-passionate women find peace in the middle of overwhelm. With deep insight into burnout and balance, Sloan empowers her clients to break free from constant busyness, create structures that feel supportive, and heal the patterns that keep them stuck. Her mission is to remind women that clarity, calm, and balance are possible, and you don't have to sacrifice your dreams to achieve them. We're talking about moving from chaos to clarity, healing burnout, and finding flow in your everyday life. Let's get to it. All right, everyone, let's welcome Sloan to the show. Welcome.
Buenos dias, Glow Up Girls.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm so excited to have you here. Like just so thrilled for this conversation today. So I want you to get us started by telling everyone listening and watching who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So, Kyra, thank you again so much for having me on the show. I'm so excited to be here and to speak to this community of beautiful, ambitious, driven women. So, my name is Sloan the Beast. I am a chaos coach for highly driven, highly ambitious women that are juggling all of the things, the motherhood and being a caretaker and having a career and launching the business. I help you create work-life balance without putting yourself on the back burner.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And it's so needed because it's almost like a badge of honor sometimes that we carry as women to like do all the things all the time. And I want to start there because a lot of women feel like their lives are defined by constant chaos. And we've normalized it. So why do you think so many of us like normalize just this constant state of being overwhelmed?
I believe that, especially as Black and brown girls, it's our upbringing. It's the way that we associate chaos with it being something negative, with it being, with tying it to feelings of abandonment, right? Tying it to feelings of negative pressure. We know that there's that good stress and there's that bad stress, right? And so a lot of us, because of our upbringing, where we saw our parents, our mothers specifically, working so hard and trying to juggle all of the things and not always necessarily making it look pretty, not making it look enjoyable. We associated by default subconsciously chaos as being something that was a bad thing. But I actually believe exactly the opposite. I believe that God gave us the opportunity to be under this pressure because that's how we build capacity.
Mhm. Interesting. Yes. And I do agree with you on that as well. Because that's where it's like capacity is growth. Like, there's strength. Um that I think, that comes from those opportunities. What do you think are some of the biggest mistakes we make when we're trying to fix busyness?
Let's talk about it. So number 1, I believe that we have this standard right now where we are confusing hustle with discipline. And it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. When you are hustling, you are moving from a place of scarcity. You are moving from a place of emptiness. You're moving from a place of fear. When you are moving from a place of discipline, however, you're saying, I know exactly where I'm going. I know exactly what it is that I need to do to take care of myself in order for me to achieve the goal. I'm going to show up whether or not I feel motivated, whether or not I want to, whether or not the circumstances look favorable, right? I have that
Mhm.
discipline. So we're confusing hustle with discipline as a first thing. And I believe that we're not integrating rest enough into our strategy. We associate rest with being something that needs to be earned. We associate rest with something that is a reward after we achieve a certain accolade, whether that's a financial accolade, whether that's a project that we have to finish. There's always an ongoing laundry list, there's always an ongoing to do list. And we believe that once that to do list is done, well, then I could take the trip, then I can have the self care day, then I could just take the 5 hour quick nap, right? It's like, no, girl, actually, rest needs to be at the forefront of
Mhm.
your strategizing because that's where we can get quiet. That's where we can receive divine deposits. And most importantly, listen to those deposits that we're receiving, listen to what our gut and our intuition is trying to communicate to us. So I believe that our bodies are the ultimate machine and everything that we need is already inside of us if we can create the space to slow down and listen.
Mhm. Oh, you said a mouthful because because it is so very true that about rest. First of all, about hustle, hustle and discipline, right? It's like we have been in this place of like just hustle culture. And it's like, oh, well, if you're not hustling, if you're not working 24 hours in a day, then you're not really trying to grow anything. You're not really trying to do anything, but you're just killing yourself because you're like you mentioned, you can't hear if you are someone who is a person of faith. You're not going to hear from God. Like if your brain is cluttered and you're always like distracted, you can't possibly have a conversation with him if your brain is like, if you're running like a bee all the time, you're doing, doing, doing. And I think then the rest part, I will definitely say I was so guilty of that for so very long of being like, well, once I finish this thing, once this happens, then I'm going to be able to, I'm going to go do something for myself. I'm going to go get a massage and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, like you mentioned, you need to have these periods of like rest and periods of doing something. Like I'm going to say, I have recently been getting 8 hours of sleep. I have not gotten 8 hours of sleep in I don't know how long during my whole corporate career. I was only getting about 4 to 5 hours of sleep because I am a person who I mean, I enjoy, when people are like, "Are you a morning person or a night per?" I'm like, "I'm both." I mean, I function very well early in the morning and I like to stay up late at night because I like hanging out with my husband and, doing stuff. And so I would always find myself like going to bed at like 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning and getting up. And I would get up at 5 because I needed to work out because I'm like, nope, I got to work out before I start working. Like that's how I start my day and, do all of and my reading and all that stuff. All that stuff happens before. But since I have been out of corporate, I'm like, oh my God, I am actually, this is what rest feels like. This is what it feels like to get like enough sleep. And I wake up and my body still naturally wakes up at like between 7 o'clock and 7:30. And I'm like, and I'm still up and I still can do the routine of like my reading, my praying, my time with God. And then I go into my workout. And it's just so like amazing how, but it's like just allowing that for myself. Like I feel like my mind is clear to actually receive what God is telling me. So when I'm asking him, because like this morning, I tell you, when I got up, there's something I was praying about, a decision I needed to make. And I said, okay, God, well, I'm going to need you to like I need to see it. Like, I need you to give me a sign. Like, give me the sign. And it was so funny because I came down this morning and I was a little late on my workout. It was like 8 and I was like checking email and doing like answering some stuff. And I was just about to go. It was about like 8:50 and I was watching the last 10 minutes of like CBS Mornings or something. And they went to a commercial and I promise you, I was like getting ready to log off and walk away. And I don't know, something was just like, stay. And so I kept doing it, and then in that final segment, the people they had on said the very thing that I needed to hear that said, "Okay, all right, I'm gonna do it. I thank you." And I was like, "Thank you, God," because that was so clear. And I'm just like, but when you are extremely like cluttered and overwhelmed, sometimes it's very hard to like be able to hear what you're asking him to provide to you.
100%. And even when we're talking about our prayer life, I think that when you're a baby Christian, right, there's this belief that you come into your prayer closet and you're praying, right? Whether you're in spiritual warfare or if it's just a normal, right? Normal prayer time, you're coming to the Lord and you're asking for things. As you mature in your walk, you start to realize that there's actually a lot more listening that happens in that time than asking. It's a
Yes.
lot of, God, here I am. Just talk to me. Guide
Yes.
guide this conversation. And I've taken that into my business where it's like I don't just show up to be busy for the sake of being busy. I
Right.
really allow myself to be led. And it's
Mm.
especially important if you are someone of faith to understand that you are positioned in business for a purpose. And if you are a person of faith and you are in business, that makes you a kingdom entrepreneur. And we cannot operate as the world does.
Mhm.
We operate under kingdom rules. And so that's just one way that I've made slight shifts that have just completely changed the game for the way that I do my work life work
Mhm.
life hustle.
I love that. Now, you work with a lot of ambitious, multi-passionate women. What unique challenges do you think they face, especially as you just mentioned, finding balance?
So the first thing is a lot of them don't believe there's balance in chaos.
Mm,
And I am a mom of 4. I homeschool my 4 kids. We have multiple businesses. I'm a public speaker, so I'm always traveling as well. And chaos is our life. And the minute that I accepted who it is that I need to become in order to thrive in this space, that is when everything changed for me.
mhm,
Because oftentimes we find ourselves in the chaos and we want it to go away. But
mhm.
it is the response to the prayers that we make in silence. The chaos, the pressure, those are the promotions that you have been asking for. And so when everything is quote unquote spiraling around you, this is where you need to be grounded within yourself to know,
Mhm,
oh, perfect.
mhm.
I'm being leveled up. I'm
Yes.
I'm getting into that higher level of myself. This is where this happens. And so the first mistake is thinking there's no balance and chaos. No, there's tons of balance and chaos because the balance comes from within. It's not something that happens exteriorly. Our exterior world is nothing more than a physical representation of what is happening inside of you. So
Mhm,
when my world feels out of control, it's because I'm out of control inside. So I need to realign. I need to recalibrate. That's the first thing. The second thing is not asking for help. We, as driven women, as women with big, audacious dreams, we tend to want to take over the vision for ourselves, all of the moving pieces, all of the
mhm.
things. But just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
You need to ask for help. That support, you are actually robbing people of the opportunity to be co participants of this world that you are curating.
Mm,
And a lot of that has to do with not having a clear vision. A lot of it has to do with not communicating that vision to your support system so that they can help you. So, we in my house, and what I teach my clients is you need to have a lifestyle framework. And a part of that lifestyle framework, you need to have a life vision.
mhm,
You need to know everybody within your house, they need to know what is that vision? Do you have a family motto? Does everybody in your family or your network know what their role is? My youngest son is 5 years old and he is very clear on what his role is, what his chores are, how it is that him not showing up to the best of his capacity impacts the rest of the team. So,
mhm.
as a family of 6 with 4 dogs, we are constantly trying to keep it all together, right? But we do this, we run a really flexible but really smooth ship
Mhm.
by everyone knowing the world that we have right now. It's not just mom and dad that are making it because that's a huge mistake. We often think like, well, I made this, everything that you have is because of me. No, when you give people ownership over the results, that creates loyalty.
Mhm.
That is encouraging. That is leadership at its finest because you are empowering even the smallest person on your team to be a co participant of this result. And so, women, if you are in this space of, well, how do I find balance? Start with creating a vision. Start with
Mhm.
creating a family motto. Be clear on what's the role of everyone in your household and make it known. Give them ownership and accountability over their role and watch how the dynamics of your family really starts to shift.
Mhm. Okay, let me just say, I love everything you just said. First of all, I mean, shout out to you my friend, because you are over there running at first you are a family of 6 and 4 dogs. I have 1 dog, and it's a lot, and it's like a child that is just never ending, and 4, so I am, like, cheering y'all on, like, "You got this." But something you said I think is so important for people to, like, it don't miss this. It is these moments of prayer and things that we ask for. We ask for these responsibilities. We ask for these like promotions. Like when we are asking God and praying for these things, and then when He starts to give them to us. I mean, He didn't say they were going to be easy. He didn't say it was just going to be. And like the thing, I think just today, I was saying to God, I was like, "You're right. Like you didn't say it was going to be. It was going to look the way I wanted it to look. It was going to look the way you want it to look, and I need to adjust to that. But this is what I was asking for. Like the things that are happening for me right now are the things I prayed for in 2024. At the beginning of 2024. It was what I talked to God about for an entire year. And now he's like, "Okay, here showtime." And so I just think like that is I don't want people to miss that because that is like your words matter. God is listening. If you are people of faith, he is listening and you are asking. He is listening to you. And it is not your time, as we all know, it's not our time, it's his timing. And you are being prepared for those moments. But yes, it can look scary. It can feel like unsettling, but it's about trusting, like, it is about trusting and really relying on God. Like, it is like, I mean, it has never been more like, I've always been a person of faith, a person that is always like trusting God. But like, there are moments in our journey where you will be like, I am nothing without you. Nothing is going to happen without this trust that I have in you. And I believe that, like, in my heart of heart, I believe that He wants the best for me. And if he brings me to something, he'll bring me through it. And I need to play my part. Although sometimes, we can try to do too much. And my mama was like, "He doesn't need your help." And I was like, "This is true." So I'm constantly telling, I'm like, "God, I know you didn't need you don't need me to, but I'm here. Like if you and that's okay."
Yeah. Just in case.
I just let you know, like, I'm in the background, like, I'm waiting, I'm ready to jump in. But I think that is so important, and I love, what you talk about in creating, like, a life vision, because it is so important. I did that about a couple months ago, sort of like a life strategy for myself, and, like, how did I want my life to play out? Like, what do I want? And I think that it's important, and I love how it starts, like, with it's everybody in your family. Like you said, your 5-year-old, he knows the role that he contributes to help the household be successful. And if he doesn't show up, then it throws off your other kids. Maybe if he doesn't do his chores, then they have to pick up the slack. And then that means everybody their chores are like, "Oh, well, the next child," So I just love that you are teaching and instilling that, and it's a team because, like you mentioned, when people feel a part of the vision, then they show up for the vision and they feel empowered and, to lead. So it may not always be you or your partner. It may be the kids that are saying, "Now look, parents, we we need we need y'all to get online and let's do this. Let's do it this way."
And it happens for sure. For sure. When we get too deep in the work and the businesses, they will reel us in for sure.
I love that. Can you talk about or share anything, a story from a client that you work with, where they've sort of seen this transformation from, chaos to clarity?
Yeah, absolutely. So my client, she moved here from the Virgin Islands 6 years ago, running, escaping just a toxic environment on the islands. And she's a single mom of 2 kids, and she was really going through a hard time with her children. Um, and so we started working together. And the work that we do is always on the inside, right? Because again, our world, everything that we're experiencing is just the physical manifestation of what's going on inside. So we started working together. And as she started to shift her language, as she started to shift the way that she respects herself, the way that she sees herself, the way that she allows others to speak to her, she started creating real boundaries in her life and her relationships. She started, quote unquote, standing on business. And what happened is now she doesn't even recognize the woman in the mirror. She says, if I look back at who I was 2024, 2023, we've been working together for 2 years now. She says, I don't even recognize that woman that didn't respect herself, that woman that was spending money on recreational things that weren't contributing to the financial habits that she had for herself, for her business. She she really put herself in a place where she said, I am here to do the work. And I think that that's one of the most important things as coaches that we need to understand is the transformation of our clients. That is their responsibility.
Mhm.
We are nothing more than the guide. We provide the right questions. We bring them all the work that they need to do. We identify from the outside the gaps. But if
Mhm.
they are not willing to show up for themselves, we can't force the transformation on them. And I'm so proud of her because she really took this personal. And now what's happened is her son by himself, he was in a little bit of trouble. He put himself in ROTC,
Mhm.
didn't have to wait on anybody. They're getting good grades. And we did a retreat a couple weeks ago. And during the retreat, she said, what I realized in this process is that a changed mother creates a space for changed children. When
Mm.
I changed,
Mhm.
that automatically, that overflow started affecting my children to where now they move different, they speak different, they see the world different. Whenever I revert back to old me, they
Mm.
reel me back in. You don't talk that way anymore. You don't curse like that anymore. Now that feels unfamiliar because
Mhm.
you've normalized a
Yeah.
higher standard of yourself.
Mhm.
And now they see themselves as being so much more. They see so much possibility. And to
Mhm.
be a single mom in a country that's not your own, in a culture that's not your own, being that trailblazer, that generational change maker that she is, that can be very scary. But she stepped up to the plate, she did the work. And now today, I'm just so proud of her because she has the things that she set out for 2 years ago.
Mhm.
I was just the guide. She did the
Yes.
work.
Yes, I love that, and I think it's really important, what you said about the coach is the guide, and people, we have to step into actually making action. And I think, you see it, you sort of see it all the time where people, go into things like coaching, like therapy, and it's just like, I mean, there's two things. It's like, showing up and taking action, but being consistent. And that is when you see the breakthroughs, when you actually do the work and you consistently show up and do the work, just like you mentioned. So I love that. I don't even know
Yeah.
about that. Kudos.
I know
Celebrate.
that one of your guests had spoken about, and I had to go back and listen to it again. You have an episode on boundaries, and she said, "I believe coaches should have coaches, therapists should have therapists." And I was like, yeah, "That's one of like my favorite saying. Like your coaches
Mhm.
have coaches for a reason because the work does
Exactly.
not stop."
Mm-mm.
It is continuous all of the time because there really are levels to this. Like even as a coach that does embodiment work, as a coach that helps create work-life balance, there's still so many things that at the level that I'm at still requires more
Mhm.
from me so that there's we are called to go from glory to glory. That's a ladder. So I'm not just
Yeah.
going to stay here at this step. There's more that I'm
Exactly.
capable of.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
think that key component is always so important when we are out and we are seeking coaches. And I think that this is important because there's a lot of coaches out there right now. So I want to provide this guidance for those of you that are in that space of what do I look for in a coach? Number one, do they have a lifestyle that aligns to your own values?
Mhm.
super important. We talk a lot about, do they bring about transformation? We just talked about transformation is your responsibility. Is that person in alignment to your values?
Right.
Do you see yourself through their light? If not, that's a clear no. I've made that mistake so many times to where now I'm like, okay, wait, hold on. I need to know, who are you being coached by? If I'm going to hire you, I need to know who you are being coached by,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
that information is going to ripple into our coaching sessions.
Exactly.
So
Yes. Yeah.
just an added little nugget in there.
Mhm. No, I appreciate that because it is true. I mean, I was talking to my therapist maybe like a week ago, and she was just like, "Yeah." And when I talked to my therapist, and I think recalled where she said someone said, "Oh, you have a therapist?" And she was like, "Of course I have a therapist." She's just like, she said, "Yeah, like my whole family, like my kids all have, therapists that they see and they've seen since they were younger." And she's like, and I'm like, "Yes, like why would you expect for the people who pour into you to also need to be like they have to be refilled as well. And they have to have, a steady opportunity for growth as well. So I think and I love what you said. It's like, yes, you're looking at that person and their lifestyle, and you do want to make sure you get people's whose values align to yours because it won't work otherwise. If you just have someone, I actually just had a conversation where we were talking about like how some coaches can be very transactional versus like really wanting to build that relationship with you and really wanting the best for you. So there's just a real difference, and I'd like to think that most women are seeking people who actually care about them and care about what they're trying to accomplish versus someone who's just like, run me 10,000, you know?
Woo. That'll breach.
Yeah. Run me that and give it to me in 5 payments if you need to over 6 months. But so let's talk about mindset because a lot of this doing the work is, comes with change in your mindset. So what changes can people make in their sort of patterns to stop us from that sense of overwhelm, but really having that clarity?
Yeah. The question that needs to be asked is, who do I have to be in this season?
Mm,
Oftentimes, when we jump into personal development, we're looking at, what strategy do I need to implement? What framework do I have to put into place? But in actuality, it's not the what, it's the who.
mm,
You don't have the things that you desire. You don't have the things that you pray for because you haven't become that person yet. So the quicker you become that person that can sustain the success that you're after, sustain the things that you desire, the quicker you become that person, the quicker you hold it in your hand. And so mindset is everything. And I know in the faith community, it's like, I don't want to talk about mindset. We want to believe that we'll just pray for it and it'll just appear at our doorstep. And it's like, actually, no, you have to not only believe, you have to walk in that belief.
mhm,
And your internal belief, again, is what brings to life your vision. It's what brings to life the things that you desire. That is your faith in action that does that. You don't wait on the resources, do not come until you are clear on your vision. The vision does not come until you are clear on what your internal beliefs are. So you have to work with your internal beliefs. You have to work with your mindset. You have to really believe that you are worthy of the things that you want. You have to believe that you can have the career and the relationship and the kids, and you can homeschool if you want to, because you're capable of doing that. Once you believe it, once you become that woman, then watch as it all unfolds. It sounds like the easiest thing, but it gets to be easy. It really does. We are the ones that overcomplicate everything, and I remember my coach used to say that to me all the time of, "It gets to be this easy." And I was like, "It can't be this easy. Impossible. How could that
What are you
be?"
talking about? It's not this easy. But
That is woo-woo.
I love that you said that because I think it is like I was it's so weird like this conversation we're having because I was thinking about this earlier today and it was pretty much like I was like, yeah, like people talk about like the things you want and oh, and a manifesting, and it is a part of manifestation, but it's also faith. Like to me, manifesting is just your faith in action of saying like this is the thing that I'm believing for. And of course, I think for myself, my prayer is always that like, God, like yes, this is the thing that I'm asking for, but I am very clear about like, but this is not the thing that you have for me. You can block it, please. Block it, stop it, don't give it to me because I don't want the extra trouble. Like, I trust you to block it. But I also am always saying, like, look, if this little thing right here is that the little thing I'm asking for, this is like, I want the biggest thing. I want the abundant blessings that you have for me. So if I'm thinking too small, like you just go ahead and stop it. You just be like, nope, I'm not letting that happen. And then let me give you the thing. And I think, like you mentioned, it is about being ready for it. Because if we think back to things that we wanted maybe a year ago, 6 months ago, like things that you just were praying up and down, like you was up every when you woke up, you was praying about it. You went to sleep, you was asking God for it. But if you really think about like, was I truly ready for that thing that I asked you for? And 9 out of 10 times, it's no. Most times we're praying for something that we're not quite ready to receive yet. And we've got to do some work to get there so that when he gives us something, then we are able to sustain it. We're able to be responsible with it. And we're able to like keep it and move forward.
There's so much to unpack with what you just said, because even that prayer shift, I don't know if this has ever happened where you start praying for one thing, right? My husband and I, we went through a really rough patch, and at first the prayer was, Lord, change him. Lord, fix him. Lord, he's the problem. As I was refined in that process, my prayer changed to, Lord, change me.
Mm,
It's me. I'm the one that needs to, I can't control him, and that the you could take care of whatever needs to happen over there. And even if that does not work out,
mm,
let me be in a place where I'm not shaken. My faith isn't shaken. I can be rooted in you. My continuation of this walk is not dependent on whether or not you fix my marriage, but dependent on just how good you are, how faith you are, how unworthy I am to have your love,
mhm,
your like to even be here right now.
mhm,
Let me be rooted in that. That shift of heart posture will happen as you pursue God and you ask for that direction every time you come into prayer. And I think that when we are creating our life vision, when we are asking for these things, of course, it's always very important to God, whatever it is I'm asking for, let it fall within your will. Let what the things that come out of my mouth, out of my heart, let that be whatever is in your will. And if it's not, change my prayer, change my heart so that it
mhm,
can be. I think that that's such an important part of our walk and of maturing in God. If you can't notice, I'm really big on like, don't stay a baby Christian. Like
I do love that you refer to as a baby Christian because it is. You're right. There are levels. There are levels. And it all really starts with like, and I think there's maturity in, like you said, change me. Because so many times it's like we're out there, well, they are crazy. That person's crazy. These people crazy. And you need to work on them, Lord. Or I'm gonna do this. And meanwhile, most times I'm like, I bet God is like, oh my God, I can't not with you again today. When are you gonna open your eyes and see? But here we are. And you're right. It's just the shift that has to be about taking our own accountability and whether or not the situation, what I love that you said is like whether or not the situation or the marriage changes, it's like change me though. And that is that's the piece that a lot of people, the gap where a lot of people are like, nope, it's not me. I'm perfect. It's got to be all of them. I mean, they all are crazy. But it's like, or either it's just fix this and make sure. No, it's like even in wanting to fix that, if it's your will, I mean, it's all in his will because you can still be forcing something. You can be forcing things. You can be asking for something, whether it's a job, it's a position, it's a business. I mean, I am I am always reading, I love shout out to Prayers That Avails Much book because I mean they got the best prayers in that book. And I'm always reading about like my business and like anything in my life. And there's a prayer about knowing God's will. And I'm like, I place all the things before you and ask for them. If they are not in your will, like remove them. Because I
Yeah.
don't have time to play. You don't have time to play. You don't have time for me to keep coming back to you talking about it every day. That's another thing I really appreciate with God. I'm like, Lord, I mean, we just talking like people. That's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, no, we just talking. Like, we're just talking. Like, I mean, he made me. He gave me this personality and this sense of humor. So why would I hide it? So when I go to him, I'm like, all right, let me tell you something funny. You gonna love what your daughter just did today. And so I feel like, also too, this is just a side note, but I feel like when you are having, of course, I have the most utmost respect and honor God, but I still feel like he made me Kyra and gave me a personality and a sense of humor. And when I speak to him, I don't like try to hide like if I thought something was funny or even sometimes when I had thought something already and it was wrong and I was like, okay, but I had already thought it. So you heard it, but I'm just gonna repent now. But it was kind of funny, right? You would have maybe thought it was funny if you was like in human form on earth, and then I said, I'm gonna stop talking now. But, we just have those kind of conversations, just those real true conversations, like, I'm like, "You
Gotta make it
know."
personal.
Yeah, it's like he already knows, I mean, before you open your mouth, he already knows what you are about to say, what you thought, even if you try to hide it, even if you try to, like, pray in fancy words, I'm like, "You don't have to use all them fancy words to pray. Just 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 go there with the pure heart." So
Yes. So good.
but I love that. I love, wow, this has been, sorry, I knew this conversation was gonna be really good, and I'm just, like, having such a good time talking to you. Okay, let's talk about some of the practical tools that you offer up to your clients. What are some things that people who are listening to us or watching us, like, what can they start practicing today?
Yeah. The first thing is I want you to intentionally start integrating rest as a part of your strategy. Whether you're a business owner or if you're working in corporate America, you need to start integrating rest as a part of your strategy. I actually teach the chronotype, so it is biology basically. Your biological clock, each of us is born with a unique biological clock. There's four total cycles, and it is very closely attributed to why we say, well, I'm an early bird, or I'm a night owl, or someone like you that is a little bit of both would probably fall into the dolphins. So, according to your biology, there is a method that you can rest in 15 minutes or more every day if you want to, that resets your nervous system, creating the space for you to continue to show up from a place of productivity, from a place of clear headedness. So that's the first thing is I want you to identify where do I have 15 minutes or more for me to reset? This has to be intentional, okay? That's the first thing for you to do. And if you can do it using your unique biology and not a framework that you found off Pinterest, even better because you're working with your body. Again, our bodies are the ultimate machine. It has everything you need to be successful. So the second thing is I want you to ask yourself at minimum one time a week, who do I have to become in this season? Who do I have to become in this season? Right? Look at if we're in quarter four right now. From here to December, I'm sure you have some big audacious goals that you are just pressing into. You know the strategy, and that's fine and that's great. And it's important to have a strategy. But even more important is to ask yourself, who do I have to be in this season to hold what it is that I'm after? And be very clear. I believe in visualization. I believe that our bodies, and this is actually scientific, our mind cannot distinguish between what is fake and what is real. So that is why the imagination realm, as John Anosiki, he is a prophet. He talks about the imagination realm and how it is so true. Once you take your mind into that space and you can imagine what your mindset will be like once you're in that next level, right? You'll be feeling, what you'll be experiencing. All of a sudden, you've already been there. So now it's just a matter of your actions catching up to what your mind already believes to be true. So
Mhm, mhm,
constantly, at least a minimum one time a week, do that exercise of who do I have to be in this season, and take yourself there. Take yourself there. Create a quiet corner in the morning. Doesn't have to be an extensive process, 20 minutes at most, and let it be intuitive, right? The more audacious, the better. Dream big.
mhm,
I love that you said that. Dream big. And then the last thing is you can create a family, a vision for your family right now. Again, create a family mantra. Get clear on what everybody's role is. And this can be something as easy. I love home systems. People don't realize that systems aren't only for business. Systems actually are relevant in your household as well. One system that we use all of the time is grocery delivery. I
mhm.
don't go to the grocery store. Can you imagine going to the grocery store with four very hungry children? Three of them are boys. So they don't care about me getting vegetables. They want Oreos, right? They want Cheez-Its. I'm not putting myself in that position because I believe that I believe in energy management over time management.
Mhm,
And so your energy management needs to be at the forefront. You can have the time to do things. That doesn't mean that you have the energy to do them. So look at what are the systems that you need to implement in your lifestyle framework, right? Maybe it is a grocery delivery system. Maybe it's another system we have is our groomer. We have a mobile groomer. So they
mhm,
come, they park in front of the house, and they get dropped off, and that's taken care of. These are systems, but we don't call them as such because oftentimes we think that systems are only for businesses. No,
mhm.
these are systems in the home that you can start implementing today.
Yes, I love that, and I'm right there with you on, grocery delivery. A side note, I actually went to the grocery store yesterday because I went out for, like, a breakfast meeting, and I was like, "Oh, I'm right across from the grocery store, so maybe I'll go." Never again. Nope. I was like, "Oh my gosh," like, I was telling my mom, I was like, I was so confused. I was, like, lost in the grocery store. Like, they had moved all the things like, I had actually hadn't been, like, physically, like, shopping in a grocery store since, like, 2019. And because I was like I was telling people, I was like, I was old school delivery before pandemic. I was getting deliveries, like, because I was like, "I don't enjoy this. I don't wanna do this." And so it was a very weird experience because I was in there and you forget, like, you have to interact with people. I'm like, "Oh, wow," like, people are, like, actually in here talking to me, and I'm just trying to, like, get through the aisles and shop, and then I'm like, "Oh, hey, yeah, okay, great, nice here." And then I would tell my mom, I was like, "Never doing that again. Let's just get that Instacart back up for next week because we are definitely not going back in that store." But that is just like, yeah, it's a system that is like it saves like you mentioned, yes, I have the time to do it, but I don't want to spend the energy doing that. And yesterday reminded me that I didn't want to. So anyhow. All right, Sloan, why don't you tell people listening or watching how they can connect to you and how they might be able to work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So blownthebeast.com is going to be your hub for everything, but I'm also on YouTube is my favorite platform. So you can look at my chaos in real time on YouTube. I post videos 1 to 2 times a week. You can get on my email list because that's my second most used platform, and you get all of the behind the scenes. I'm someone that is very open and honest about what it is I'm working on in real time, not after the fact. So it makes you feel like you're on the journey with me, like you're not alone in your pressure. So that's definitely what I would recommend is to get on my email list and of course Instagram, TikTok, and Threads as well.
Awesome. All right. And we'll make sure we drop all those links in the show notes. So we are going to go into three things with Sloan. I'm going to ask you three questions that just helps our audience get to know you better. My first one is a two-parter. How do you start and end the day?
So I start my day pretty late, start at 11 a.m. And I don't listen to motivational speeches or anything like that. I find that it kickstarts my brain way more than what I want it to. So I actually start on Pinterest. I create mini mood boards for my day so that I know kind of what the vibe is that I'm feeling. From there, I'll move into my gratitude journal and devotional, coffee with my husband and kids. That's usually our morning routine. We have big breakfast together pretty much every
Mhm.
single day. And then at the end of my night, I am a wolf chronotype. So I work until 2, sometimes 3 in the morning. But with all of that, there's one thing that I don't skip on, and that's my nightly devotional, my prayer time. That's how I have to end my day. So when we're talking about those resets, for me, it's mental, creative, and spiritual, so I make sure that I'm hitting those 3 spots.
Awesome. I love that. Second question. What's a goal or intention you set for yourself this year? And if you don't mind sharing, where might you be with it?
Yeah, so my intention for this year was better discipline, discipline specifically in my ministry, and what God has done this year has surpassed my every expectation. Um, Most recently, if I can share this, most recently
Yeah.
I spoke at a women's conference, and usually we think of women's conferences and they're like a younger crowd, right? I'm a millennial, but it wasn't that at all. It was 60 and 70-year-old white women,
Mm-hmm.
and in a very rural area. And for me to share my story, for me to share this very it was I preached on the book of Zephaniah. And so it was I said, God, you sure you want me to you sure this is the whole Lord? It was a hard message. But these women came up to me in tears, hands shaking, talking about how my story gave them hope, how they were waiting on a message like that for years. And what God has done in my ministry this year is it's so beautiful. And I'm just so honored and so blessed that He's just been mobilizing us the way that He has, all for His glory.
Awesome. Oh, I love that. It's beautiful. And the last question is, where are you currently finding inspiration?
I find inspiration in a little bit of everything. I'm an avid traveler, so I love getting to know the core of communities. I love getting to know people's stories. I am a cinematographer at heart, so I love watching different documentaries and right now Korean series. I love the way that they're so discreet and mysterious and
Mhm.
and so that's ki that's kind of where
Awesome.
I've been getting that, yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, Sloan, I just want to say thank you so much for coming and sharing. I knew it was going to be a really good conversation, but it has truly touched my heart, and I've received so much from what you've shared today. And before I let you go, I do have one last question for you, and it's what are three things you'd like for our audience listening or watching to take away from our conversation?
The first thing is the answers are already inside you. That's the first thing. Um, if you're operating from hustle and not from a space of rest and not from a place of grounding, you're gonna miss the communication. So the answers are inside you. Stop looking exteriorly. The second is there's freedom in releasing your own expectations. Your expectations of where you should be right now, right? These invisible timelines that we impose on ourselves, what we should be doing in this moment. God's timing over your life is absolutely perfect. Once you can just sit in that, this journey becomes so much more enjoyable because you're never out of alignment. And that is freedom. That's freedom. And then the last thing is there's balance in the chaos. I really do believe that the pressure is that's your sign that you're being promoted.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for coming, and you can always come back and chat with me in the future.
Of course, Kyra, thank you so much. Bye, glow up girls.
Awesome. Stay tuned, everyone. All right. Well, let's thank Sloan again for coming to the show today. What a great conversation. I really, truly enjoyed that. And I hope I received so much from just chatting with her today. And I hope you all did as well. You can find out more about her and the work that she does from the links in the show notes. If you want to learn more about Glow Up Girl, as always, you can head over to glowupgirl.com and sign up for our newsletter to get tools, insights, and inspiration for your Glow Up Girl journey. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are at Glow Up Girl. So go there, do that. And wherever you are listening, don't forget to rate, review, and share. It helps more women find the show. And if you're sharing on social, make sure you tag us so we can cheer you on. All right, as I mentioned earlier, if you're ready to turn your personal story into purpose, check out Story Labs at glowupgirl.com/story-labs. It helps more women. Sorry. That will help. It's a space and an opportunity for me to connect with you and to help you build out your personal story. So think about like, what is my elevator pitch? What is my bio? What's my short? What's my long bio? What's my about me say? If you're looking to be on podcasts next year, if you're looking to do more speaking engagements as well, but you're not really sure and clear on what the exact angle of your story should be, that's what these sessions are created for. They're hour-long sessions where you will have some pre-work. We will get together. I will listen to you. We will talk. I will ask you some questions, and I will return to you a snapshot of what your story looks like. So if you're thinking, go to the page, check it out, and you're like, I don't know yet, is that the thing for me? You can always send me an email to hello@glowupgirl.com and we can have a chat. We can set up a quick time for a discussion. All right. And also for all my business owners, creatives out there, if you are looking for ways to work smarter, and, thinking about, needing systems or strategy, check out my website, hellowonderwell.com. It's my Studio Wonderwell, where I work with creatives and business owners to help them put systems and strategies into place so that they can focus on the heart of their business. All right, and lastly, if you're a brand or someone looking to partner with a community of women chasing big dreams, Glow Up Girl is accepting sponsorship, so you can reach out to hello@glowupgirl.com. All right, I think that takes care of everything for today. So I will see you all next week. So until then, stay focused, fab, and glow up. Take care, everyone.